Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket or you're just happy to see me?
Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are back for another Talk Nerdy, and as I mentioned, it's going to it's like normally we don't talk politics, but you kind of cannot not talk about some politics, particularly recently, given the events of July 13th during the Trump rally, when a 20-year-old decided to take a shot at former President Trump, and nearly, if Trump had turned his head, would have been a through the skull, but caught his ear because he turned his head at the right possible moment. So, and then on top of that, which is, I saw your tweet stuff, so I'm going to believe it's not necessarily a coincidence either that a week later, Biden has dropped out of the race.
What are your predictions for next weekend?
My predictions for next weekend. You know what? Fuck it. My prediction for next weekend is that it's gonna be psych out that he endorses Kamala Harris, and we're gonna get another run of Hillary Clinton for the White House.
Oh yeah. I'm thinking he's gonna step down. That I'm going there. This is my predict. I really think this will happen. Right? I think he's going to step down, and then resign, and then Kamala will take his place. That way, the Democrats can show Americans, hey, look, see, she can be a good president. She has presidential qualities. See, she's presidential qualities. And then she just completely fucks it up by laughing.
Yeah, pretty much. I have nothing against donkeys. I love those animals, but she does sound like a braying jackass whenever she does laugh.
Oh my gosh, she's got that nasty witch cackle. It's whoever told you that your laugh was super adorable lied to you, honey. Stop it. It's not cute.
I can see Newsom possibly being her VP pick or part of her cabinet. I can see possibly.
If Gavin Newsom is anywhere on the Democratic ticket, if he's anywhere on the ballot, just here you go, Trump. Hand it to him on a silver platter.
Pretty much.
Because nobody wouldn't even take the risk of him being VP if anything happens to Kamala and Gavin Newsom's the president. No way. I think Gavin Newsom being on the ticket would make Democrats vote for Trump. That's how hated that man is.
Yeah, I'm not saying it would make sense, any amount of sense. I'm just saying I could see it happen because leftists have shown that they don't make any sense whenever they've made decisions.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying I could pretty much see it. But anyway, we are going to talk a little bit about that. And I do have a couple. We're going to talk about Cobra Kai also. We're going to get that done and out of the way first to give our impressions of the 5 episodes of part 1 for this final season 6. And a couple pop culture articles I found, one of which still ties to politics and in general, because Rachel Maddow decided to open up her stupid mouth yet again and claim that Lord of the Rings, Tolkien, is a dog whistle for the alt-right, because J.D. Vance, VP pick for Trump, J.D. Vance, inspired by his mentor, CEO of PayPal, Peter Thiel, into naming some of his venture capitals after elements from Lord of the Rings. Right, and one of his venture capitals is named after Narya, and I'll go into what Narya is pretty much. But again, Rachel Maddow was it's basically a dog whistle for the alt-right, pretty much. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the DLC coming into Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and how it couldn't possibly get any. You would think that how could it possibly get any fucking worse? Well, Rocksteady, hold my beer, pretty much. But anyway, Steph, let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff.
We are late, so just find me everywhere at My Nerdy Home, right there, everywhere.
You go. And obviously you can find me here, and I'll go into where else you can find me in my outro. Phil, hello, good to see you. Trey, ready for the cringe? Yes. And cringe within politics and pop culture. Soul Assassin, hello. This is my Discord. I just did a Discord watch party of the movie Young Einstein from the late 1980s. It's an Australian film, and if you have not seen it, I feel like everybody needs to see it at least once in their lives because it's an absurd film, but it's fun to watch. Capinova, hello, hello. JRO Studios, good to see you. Emmett Burkowski, good to see you as well. Ras Toxic Male goes, And then down here, he says, Latent Women. Yes. Essentially saying latent gay, but we're not as gay as Mazza. Steve Kenobi's about to watch Five Nights at Freddy's, so we'll see what he thinks of that movie. Mike, hello, hello. Good to see you. Daniel Stewart. Yep. A little bit late. Tiny Metal Trees. What is up? Optimus N64. How am I today? I am doing well. Did a watch party, like I said, of Young Einstein. Relax this afternoon, and now we're doing this stream. So, make sure I don't miss anyone. Retro Collective, aka Gaming or What? I need to check because Gaming gifted me something that I very much want to show off, and I'm trying to keep track of whenever it gets shipped and when it's going to get here. Because it's one thing that I was like, yes, I want to show it off whenever I get it. Making sure I don't miss anyone, so I'm gonna pause. Medalong, hello. Oh, there it is. Hello. And Ms. Martin Muses, good to see you. And at some point we will be continuing our playthrough of Call of Cthulhu Gigawatts. You're laughing. I saw you tweeted something, so we're gonna have to talk that. No one can compare to Moz. I was like, no. Dread Pirate and Mikey, hello. Oh, and Halo got canceled. The Halo show, well, technically got canceled, but it could conceivably be shopped around. It's being shopped around. So it could conceivably be picked up by another studio, but as of now, there's no more.
But will it? Will streaming services waste money on that show? Will they?
The only way I would see them wasting money is if they were allowed the control to fire everyone associated with these current 2 seasons and start from scratch. Basically, if they made a deal with 343, Microsoft, and they said, you know what, we will take this on, but we want to start from scratch, fire everyone, we are going to go this route. I could see a studio doing that, but picking it up where it is now, I wouldn't touch that with a 20-foot fucking pole.
See, that would be the cheapest way to do it, is just picking up what they have now as opposed to starting all over. Just take what they have now. But they're not going to do that. Honestly, I feel like corporations, because of what happened to Willow and Batgirl, right? They're taking these projects, taking them off streaming. It was a waste of money. And even with Batgirl, nobody's going to see this film. We're going to write it off as a tax write-off. Studios have now become and the backlash that's what I'm missing. The backlash that came from that. Studios are really hesitant on canceling projects because they don't want to deal with the backlash of audience, because social media has given everyone a voice. Yeah. That they'll cancel a show. I don't think that it's going to be picked up anywhere, right? They'll cancel the show. They'll cancel a show and they'll be like, "Oh, don't worry. We're going to shop it around and see if anybody else wants to pick it up." That way they don't look like the bad guy.
Yeah. I'm saying there's no way in its current state that any studio in their right mind would pick it up. There's no way. I'm saying the only way that they would pick it up is if they were allowed to basically start from scratch. And even then it'd be chances are very low that they would be allowed to happen. But yes, also I forgot about that. The Acolyte finished and we got the fucking here's Plagueis, everyone. Plagueis.
Hey, how do you feel about that, Mara? Plagueis! We finally got Plagueis! Plagueis is
hiding
there.
in a fucking cave, a little cave.
He got all of these ideas that he got he got all these ideas by listening to conversations and watching them. It all came from them. It all came from the twins, from the Acolyte, from Leslie Headland's brain. Yes. She has made her mark, put her stamp on Star Wars. So whenever you think of the Force joke, you think of Leslie Headland.
Oh, and Yoda at the end too, sure. And I'm like, and the acolyte defenders are kind of going after people that got pissed off seeing Plagueis, and like making it like seem like they were people upset were hypocritical, and they're like, no, they're upset because that when I say that's not Plagueis, it means that's not actual canon Plagueis. Like just because it looks like Plagueis does not mean it's actual canon
The book
Plagueis.
isn't canon.
Yeah.
They can do whatever. It's a fresh. That's oh my gosh, my favorite part. My favorite part of like because I for whatever reason my acolyte tweets would take off on Twitter. My favorite part was seeing how they would defend all of these decisions. Right, that's my favorite part. Like right now, Star Wars are warrior monks. They're Star Wars Jedi. The Jedi are now like they're warrior monks who are also human, by the way, so they're completely fallible. And they are also oh my gosh, what are they? They are Japanese. No, they're Chinese ninjas as well. They are also samurais. I'm just like, I'm reading all of these things like, well, this comes from this inspiration and they took inspiration from this thing and this thing too. I'm like, wow, Jedi really are just everything, aren't they? Like they're just pulling from different things to make
the only thing that I would all remotely agree with is that
all the bad imagery, all the bad writing. Oh no, it's because of
is the only one that I would remotely agree with is that yes, Jedi are fallible. They're imperfect, but they are still the good guys. They are still the good guys. Mm-hmm. So they're not they're not they're the ideal to aspire to because of like their faith in the light side of the Force and the fact and everything. Basically, they're the ones like that you aspire to, but they're still imperfect. Hello, Apollo.
And I refuse to believe that Yoda was there the whole time, huh? What was he doing? Was he in like just meditative state?
And then he was in
feel that something was off. He couldn't sense that something was off, right? And then knowing all of this information, because the Green Lady, I can't remember her name, but the Green Lady Jedi who's trying to cover it all up, she comes to him and so at the very end is like, I need to tell you something. So he it's assumed that she told him because I don't know if we're going to get a season 2. I think we will, honestly. I really do. I think we will get a season 2. But you're telling me that it's implied, right? In case we don't get a season 2, it's implied that she told him everything that was going on. Mm. And he just kept this information to himself?
I'm saying then act surprised whenever the Sith reveal themselves in the prequel trilogy. I'm like, come on. I'm like, yeah, but like I agree with Trey. The samurai inspiration is actually accurate because that is an inspiration for the Jedi. But they're pulling
stuff but it wasn't just that, man. It wasn't just that. It was like all of these other things just thrown. I'm just like,
yes.
And then also, like, it's so funny when I'm like reading all of this stuff, and I'm reading a lot of the replies back, right? And it's their headcanon.
Yeah.
Thrown into the replies because I really wanted to like reply back to a lot of people being like, okay, well, where in the show does like that happen? Where in the show did that happen? Where in the show do they say that though? Because a lot of it is like their headcanon, which is hilarious to me. It's just their headcanon. Like, no. Well, this happened and this and this and that. This is implied. This is implied. It's like, but that's your implication.
Yeah.
Not what the show is leading you towards or what the show is saying.
But you do know, before we move on to like talking about Cobra Kai, you do know that Leslie Headland and like everyone else is like associated with that is watching this, and I seriously bet with all like these like little Disney like Star Wars fan theories running around that like at some point that we will be getting the you read that totally correct. That's what we were implying this whole time. I fully expect that to happen. Oh, like you read that into that? Totally. That's exactly what I was intending the whole entire time. I bet she will do that. Yes. Oh, hashtag undecided. God damn, those pronouns. Anyway, that was the big reveal. But another thing dropped this week, and I only brought this article up so we had like something to kind of like look at while we talk about this. But the new season of Cobra Kai essentially dropped July 18th. And when I say essentially dropped, I mean they split it into 3 parts. So we got 5 episodes this round. And we're gonna get like another 5 episodes, I believe, around November time frame, and then another like whatever 5 or whatever moving forward, like sometime like early next year. And so I watched these first 5 episodes, and we're gonna go into spoilers, chat. So if you have not watched it and you don't want any type of spoilers, I will give a thumbs up whenever we're done talking about it. But we can't really talk about these episodes without going into anything that could give anything away. But Steph, what did you think of these 5 episodes?
Yeah. Okay. Look, I told Mara, like, I think that I'm growing out. I'm growing out of of Cobra Kai because, like, look, it's getting ridiculous. I'm just gonna come out and say it. But you know what? This is a show where like the town, like they deal with their disputes through karate, right? Because I'm watching this first part, these first 5 episodes, part 1. And I'm thinking to myself, my God, this has reached like Fast and the Furious levels of ridiculousness.
It kind of got there at some points. A little bit.
Like, especially there's one point. Look, John, you saw at the very end of this last season that John Kreese escaped from jail.
Yes.
Right? He escaped prison.
Mm-hmm. He's a wanted man. He's a fugitive.
He's a wanted man. He is a fugitive, and somehow the man was able to take an international flight to Korea.
That's what I pointed out to like Trey in my Discord. I was like, not only is he able to get on an international flight to Korea because he's like going to find that sensei. He comes back. Not only comes back, but he's standing right in front of cameras in Barcelona, where the fucking Sekai Kai is taking place.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm trying to wrap my head around that. And I'm like, okay, even I can't trick my brain at the door for that.
I'm like, how he made it over to Korea? Like, he somehow was. Does he have that many connections? This man that was practically homeless at the very beginning of the show when it first started, he's practically homeless. But all of a sudden, he's got all these connections. Like, he can make it to Korea.
He somehow has the money.
That right there, like at that point, I was like, okay, this show's like it's going Fast and the Furious route. Like, I'm on board, but come on, this wanted man makes it onto an international flight to Korea,
which he would have had to pay for, which would have triggered his finances because they would be watching to make sure, like, to see if like what he was doing.
And then goes into a cave. Here, I'm gonna spoil this one part for you guys if you don't mind, because it was just so ridiculous to me. He goes into a cave and I'm not gonna tell you why he's in this cave or why he needs to retrieve this object, but he goes into this cave to retrieve an object, and the object is guarded by a cobra. The cobra poisons him with the bite. He has a delirious dream, comes out from the dream, has overcome the cobra venom. I don't know how.
I was like, that's not how that
cobra
works.
Venom, and then slices. Does he slice the cobra in half with his hand? I don't know.
I don't know.
He goes like this, so I'm assuming that he sliced the cobra's head off with his hand because he brings the cobra head back along with what he was supposed to retrieve. And keep in mind, this is an old man. So I was just like, okay, let's go. Let's just keep going. Let's go. Let's see what else is next.
Real fast, thank you for the super chat. I did see his cameo in that. What makes up for the Suicide Squad disaster for his last fucking voice role. I see Keely's in the chat. Where are you? Good to see you, Keely. And want to make sure I don't. Someone else popped in. Keely's Jones. I know I saw you. Jamie Lee fan. Yeah, so Spider-Man with snakes. Well, kind of. War Machine. Hello. But basically, that was one thing that I could not wrap my head around. And another thing I couldn't exactly wrap my head around is that these first 5 episodes seem to undo certain character progressions. Like that, almost. Like they spent so many seasons building up certain characters like to this point, then I'm like, well, now you're kind of going back to like season 1 and 2 almost, pretty much.
For like
Hey, Raging Rhino.
hi. So like between the characters of Johnny and Daniel?
Well, them, because like those two, because I'm like we're now on season 6, and I'm like, they're at the point where they should be setting aside their differences enough that they can work together, and they're still butting heads over like the styles to teach.
I
Tori's
actually
finally got closure with Sam over like what like the shit they did, but now Tori's like gone like full like like 180.
Here's the thing, the kids' storylines I actually liked. I thought they were really good. I think that it makes sense for Johnny and Daniel to butt heads in the way that they teach their classes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I get that. I get that.
And it has been like laid out that Daniel is incredibly stubborn and he hates to relinquish control. And like with Johnny now there, he has to like loosen the reins at least some bit. And he doesn't like that. Right? He does not like that.
The only one of the kids' storylines that makes sense to me is Miguel and Robbie, just because Miguel needs the Sakai Takai. Like he wants to get into Stanford, and then there's a little bit of resentment from Robbie because Robbie's always coming second.
I loved Robbie.
I'm saying like that's the only one that made sense. Really like it wasn't exactly a turnaround, but that's the only story that made
Daniel's
sense.
daughter, I can't remember her name.
Sam.
The other one is Tori. Sam.
Yeah.
Sam's like reason for doing this is because she needs closure. Like that's kind of dumb. That's ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then I get Tori's emotions with what happens with her character because there's like a major event that happens that like causes her to, like basically fly off the emotional handle, so to speak. But for her to go back to Kreese after what he did,
it makes sense to me though. It does,
but not to the woman. Not to the woman. That she's willing to do willing to join in Kreese with the woman that she helped take down. So it's like
it makes sense to me that she went back to Kreese. It totally made sense. I was waiting for it. I was like, oh yeah, because Tori is you have to remember these are teenagers and she is very emotional and she thinks and makes decisions, whether rational or not, based on her emotions. And right now she's incredibly emotional and she doesn't want to talk about anything that's going on. All she wants to do is fight, and they're not letting her fight. So she's going to the one person who is going to let her fight, and that's Kreese. So it makes sense to me.
I'll see where it goes. It doesn't quite make sense to me because Johnny was willing to let her fight.
But he was outnumbered. Like he was totally outnumbered. He was totally outnumbered.
If I had been in that situation, I would have been I would have told Tori to take 10 minutes, calm down. And then that would put her back into a good headspace. So if she still wanted to fight, at least she wouldn't be coming from basically full on emotions. And that's how I would have handled the situation if I were one of the instructors. And the Miyagi thing.
That is the one thing that I do not like. Is that they've kind of tainted Miyagi.
A little bit.
Now, that's not going to last. I don't see them.
I feel like they're going to come up with a plausible explanation.
There's going to be an explanation for it as to why he kept this from Daniel, why he lied to Daniel, why he has this whole box of mysteries. It's going to be explained, but I don't like that they even started it. I don't like that it was even a thing. I don't like that it was even a plot point because now you've tainted this character. And that is what Cobra Kai has really strayed away from, was tainting the legacy of Mr. Miyagi. And now with this, they've sort of done that a little bit. I
Which
don't know if like this is going to lead to the Karate Kid movie with like Jackie Chan. Right? Isn't there supposed to be like a Karate Kid movie?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a Karate Kid movie with Jackie Chan, a new one.
Yeah. But see, I don't know if they're doing this because of that movie, and like maybe this is supposed to like lead into that movie or something. But because like they've also said that that movie is going to be a standalone thing, separate and completely separate from Cobra Kai. So I don't know if like if they change their mind and like that's why they're bringing this in. But but like Daniel tells Johnny, like, you know, Mr. Miyagi never cared about competition, right? Like, and you know that because the only reason that he entered in Daniel into a competition was to keep him from being bullied, you know, and sort of teach Daniel some self-reliance, some, you know, some protection, like, you know, some self-defense skills. And like that's pretty much the only reason he entered him into the competition. He wanted to keep him from being bullied. He didn't care. He never really cared. He didn't even like prepare Daniel with anything, right? Yeah. So he didn't really care about competition. He told Daniel, I think he told Daniel at one point, like, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, right? Like it doesn't matter. So like it's implied that he never cared about competition. I think like in the third movie, he wouldn't even let Daniel
no, he didn't want Daniel to compete.
He didn't want him to like, you know, compete for like his title, right? Daniel kept trying to get him to sign it, and he never would sign it. So like it was a really big plot point. And now you come and find out that like I don't know, should I say it? That Miyagi.
Well, I did say we'll be touching on spoilers, so I'm gonna give a thumbs up when we're done talking about it. So
okay, like now it turns out that like Miyagi competed. He competed in the Sakai Kakai. I can't say it. Competition, and not only did he compete in it, but he was the boys' leader.
The captain, basically.
The captain.
The team captain,
the boys'
basically.
captain, the team captain. So like it's so odd, but like they added that on top of like the other thing that Daniel found out about Mr. Miyagi. So I feel like they're kind of tainting his character a little bit with these first 5 episodes.
Part of me think, didn't Miyagi say that he had a brother or something, like possibly?
Yes, like he possibly had a brother.
Yeah, so part of me is thinking that the explanation is going to be that the brother actually committed the crime and Miyagi took the rap. Sort of situation.
Yeah. And Daniel's like, he didn't have a brother. He never had a brother. He never told me he had a brother.
Yeah.
So. You know, like he's keeping things from Daniel. He has this whole other life that Daniel didn't know about. And so, well, because that's one of the things that like they thought, like, did Miyagi have a brother? They asked that question. And Daniel's like, no, he never had a brother.
So Trey thinks that that man is Korean. So
yeah, he's Korean.
Yeah, so he wouldn't be Miyagi's brother. Maybe they knew each other, but they wouldn't be brothers because like that man is Korean. But my part of me does think that that's going to be the explanation, that Miyagi, as like the older brother or whatever, took the rap, or at least took the blame.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because like the birthdays were different, huh?
Yeah. Because like they know the passport that like
they find a
older
passport.
Than he yeah. So.
Hi, Apollo.
He's not North Korean. He's not North Korean. Like the first thing he goes to, he's North Korean.
Oh
no. Yeah, like those were really the only like big things that happened. I mean, like Devin got more screen time this go around because she was like really wanted to be part of the Sakai Takai competition that she Sakai Takai that she like put laxatives in Kenny's water.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, but like I can't stand either of those characters. Like just take them out. They don't need to be there. Just take them out.
I thought Kenny would at least have like good progression this like the start of this season, because at least his older brother is not the best example to go off of. At least his older brother's like you got to
He's
change.
talking some sense into him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's talking to sense into Kenny. Like if you keep going down this road, you're gonna end up where I ended up in juvie. I can't let you do that. Like you want dad to like
Yeah, when he gets back from overseas from deployment, you want him to find you in juvie. Like what do you want to? Yeah.
So
but honestly, like I didn't like his character last season. I thought like it didn't matter. He didn't have to be there.
Not quite.
And then I can't. I've never liked Daniel's kids, either one of them, Sam or
Anthony.
The son, Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them. I've never liked his kids. I can't stand them. I don't know why they're writing his kids like that, but like they're both really bratty and incredibly spoiled. I really can't stand his kids. And at this beginning of the season, like maybe like the first couple of episodes, I was like, okay, I'm on board with Anthony, whatever. Okay, well, he's not too bad. And then Sam like apologized to Tori, and she like took responsibility for a lot of the things that happened to Tori and a lot of the things that she made Tori feel, right? Mm-hmm. She took responsibility for that. And I was like, okay, that's cool. But then like, I don't know, maybe it's the way that the actress plays Sam, but I mean, there's just like this sense of like, I'm such a spoiled brat. So, and Anthony's the same way. Mm-hmm. Anthony's the same way. Like, he's like, you told me the underdog wins. You lied. It's like, bro,
that was kind of stupid. That was kind of stupid. That was
the way that Daniel, he basically coddles his kids. I can't stand it. I don't like
I think it's more of like because of coddling, which kind of makes them kind of bratty. I wouldn't say like necessarily they are full on brats, but because
I think they're brats. They're full on brats.
Yeah. Well, Anthony was a full on brat early on in the seasons. He was like a full on brat that I felt needed basically to be like taking the switch to pretty much half the time. Sam was like she was a brat, but she was kind of like almost elitist in a way, like for one better way of putting it, especially when she encountered Tori first. Like there was kind of like that haughtiness a little bit to her attitude. Also didn't help given the girls that Sam hung out with. So like she was a princess, pretty much. She's a princess, and I'm supposed to kind of believe that. I don't know. I prefer Tori as a character to Sam.
Yeah, I like Tori.
We'll see.
I like Tori's character better. Like even though there are some episodes that I just couldn't stand her. I like her character a lot better. I like her backstory a lot better. Mm-hmm. She's a compelling character that I can get behind. But the other ones just Daniel's kids, there's nothing really compelling about them. Like
the only thing I know from like Chosen in this season is that it looks like he was looking up flights to Okinawa because he professed his love to Kamiko.
Yeah.
In the last season.
He wrote her like a drunk text and she never responded.
Yeah. And so as far as I know, he's in Okinawa right now. That's like where he is. Because he was looking up flights to cost of flights to Okinawa. So yeah, so like really it's like, okay, so thumbs up basically. It's the first 5 episodes. I want to see where the next 5 kind of take us because they got to the competition a lot faster than I thought they would. I thought they would like make their way to the competition at some point in the next series of episodes for part 2. But they ended the season with them like arriving in Barcelona. So I'm like, are you going to spend all of part 2 with the competition sort of situation? Like,
well, there's
5 episodes.
Yeah, there's 3 parts. So
I'm saying like it's like they end the first part with them arriving in Barcelona for the competition. So I'm like, are you going to spend like all of part 2 on the competition? Like, how long is this going to be? Pretty much, because I thought they would get to the competition during part 2, at some point in part 2, and then kind of progress into part 3, and that would be like kind of like going into the epilogue sort of situation.
I'm wondering if they're going to begin part 2 by going back in time a little bit, because I mean, it seriously went from the valley to Barcelona, Spain.
Yeah.
So I think they might go like back in time a little bit and show them, training a little bit more before they actually go to Spain. That's what I'm
Maybe
thinking.
it just seemed pretty fast, but
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
but for the chat who've been like sticking around like while we're talking about it, that's essentially everything that happened in the first part of like season 6. So not like it's to me a mixed bag.
It wasn't great.
No, it's a
but
mixed bag right now. It's a mixed bag. It could get better in part 2. It could get worse. It
wasn't great, but like I wasn't like, yes, yeah, it's awesome. I wasn't like that either. I still love the character of Johnny. I still love like everything that he went through. You find out, which is very interesting. You find out that oh my god, what is his name? Why can't I remember his name?
What?
The guy that took Johnny into the woods.
Oh, Stingray.
Stingray.
And yes, the actor who plays Mike Barnes actually was supposed to have shoulder surgery, but he skipped it to be able to reprise his role.
Dude, I love the actor that plays Barnes. I've always loved him. I'm like, oh, perfect man right there. And then during their fight, he like goes like this, sort of like pumps his fists, and the sawdust just comes off his shoulders.
I just imagine like just Steph going like this.
Like, woo, let's take some time to appreciate just that tiny little part, that 3 seconds right there. Let's go. But it comes out that like it's very interesting, right? Because they've merged their dojos, and they're trying to fight for what they're going to go under, right? For the Saikai Gaikai, Saikai Taikai,
Sakai Takai,
whatever. And are they going to be Eagle Fang or Miyagi-Do, right? So Johnny and Chosen are going to fight for the name of the dojo, and Stingray invites Johnny out to the forest, and he's like, Cobra Kai never dies, and Johnny thinks that it's Kreese calling him out there.
Yeah.
But it ends up being Stingray, and Stingray's like, you have to restart Cobra Kai. You have to do it. You have to restart it. Cobra Kai started with you or whatever. And you like for a second, you think that Johnny's going to do it, right? You think that he's going to be like, let's call it Cobra Kai. But you don't. He doesn't do it. He's like, I don't. And I love that part of Johnny. That shows growth. See, this is why I feel like they're moving back, Johnny and Daniel.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they're regressing in their characterization. They're actually progressing. There's character progression because he's like, I don't want to have anything to do with John Kreese. And that Cobra Kai, that's his legacy. It's not mine. That's not going to be my legacy. And he ends up like telling Daniel, like, hey, I don't want to fight. If you want to go by Miyagi-Do, then go ahead. And it's so funny because before he walked up and told them that, Daniel told Chosen, like, we can't fight with Johnny, right? We'll go under whatever name that Johnny wants. We'll just concede. And Chosen gives like one of the funniest lines. Like I literally busted out laughing because he's like like a child. Chosen was like, but Inglefang is stupid.
That line I did like he's like that's
it's just the way he delivers the line. He's just like, but Inglefang is stupid. Because he really wants to go as Miyagi-Do. And what's interesting is that they are going by Miyagi-Do, and they have new gis and a new patch. And the patch is beautiful. The patch is, the bonsai tree, but it has an eagle flying over the bonsai tree. It's a beautiful patch. It's a way that to tell us like and show us these characters are moving forward together. Like there's nothing that can get in the way of them anymore. They've moved on from their, pettiness with each other. And they're going to move forward as one dojo. I love that. I loved that about those two characters. And then, yeah, there's still going to be some arguments because they have different way of teaching. And especially like after Daniel finds like this box of mysteries from Mr. Miyagi, right? Yeah. He's kind of like thrown for a loop. So he's not really thinking straight. And there's another part in there. Hold on, I'm trying to think. There's another part in there with them. Oh, and then like, he's talking to his wife and he's like, you know what? This is after this, like, no more karate. No more karate. This is going to be my swan song after this is over. And you actually find out that like Daniel is going to give the dojo over to Johnny. Like that's how much he trusts him, right? He's going to give control of the dojo to Johnny. Because he doesn't want to, do karate anymore. He wants to focus on his family. He wants to focus on his career. Because I mean, he is a car dealership owner. He's a very successful career man. And him and his wife have always said, like, hey, the karate is like getting in the way. It's getting in the way. It's pulling your focus. It's pulling your focus. So, he's setting up Johnny to take over Miyagi-Do. And that's it. Incredible character growth from where they were from season 1. He has to trust Johnny an incredible amount in order to even consider that. And the fact that he wants to, give the dojo over to Johnny speaks volumes. I mean, it's incredible. I love it.
I just wish, because I don't believe he's told Johnny. That's the thing. I feel like
he hasn't told Johnny.
Johnny
Johnny
doesn't know.
If he
told Johnny, then like a lot of stuff wouldn't have gone down. But he hasn't told Johnny yet. So now they're basically at odds.
Oh my gosh. Shellback says the Miyagi Fang logo was hilarious. Dude, so the Miyagi Fang logo was the students. Like the students got together to try to,
find a compromise.
Yeah, find a compromise. And they were so proud. They showed their senseis and they're like, we thought long and hard. We came up with a patch and they reveal it. And oh my gosh. Like the looks on Daniel and Johnny's faces, and even Chosen was just like utter shock and just disgust because it's like Miyagi's face with fangs. Like it was so bad. I think was it Chosen that said like they turned him into a vampire or something
something like that. Yeah,
that was really funny.
So, real fast, like. Kreese is like taking on a new team for Cobra Kai, and they're basically like the top 3 Korean students, to include Kwon, who's basically the hothead in the group. Which like Kreese kind of like gets into Kwon's head, but Kwon really didn't have a lot of development. Like there's really not much to his character, just that he's a hothead, and he's like basically the best essentially on the Cobra Kai team.
Yeah, I think we need to. I think like maybe next season, with or not next season, part 2 in November. Mm-hmm. I really think it's not going to be the competition on. I think they're going to go back and show a little bit of like how Kreese is training these kids, how they got their gis, because now they have new gis. That's what they're called, right?
Gis, yes.
Okay. With the Cobra Kai patch, but in Korean on the back. So they're now Cobra Kai. And I think that like there's more there. There's more story to tell there. So I don't think that it's going to start off with a competition moving forward. I really think that they're going to go back in time and show more before they get to Barcelona.
Yeah. So, that's what I'm kind of hoping for, because it was like an incredible jump, and I was like, so there's like there's stuff missing.
Yeah.
Leading up to that point. And it looks like November 15th is when part 2 drops for this season. So we have 5 more episodes dropping this year, and then to be determined the last 5 in 2025. So basically there's about,
they're going to release it like in February.
1, 2, 3, 4 months roughly break before part 2. So if it's like goes with that pattern, you're looking at like March, April time, March to April time frame.
This was such a bad idea for them to release it like this in 3 parts.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's such a bad idea, especially considering the takeaway from the first 5 episodes. Like, so
kind of was.
So stupid. Like, why are you doing that? Just drop them all. Come on. Cut it out.
Drop them all, or at the very, very least 2 parts.
Cut it 2 parts. Cut it in half, but finish it by the end of 2024, right?
Yeah.
Don't go into 2025.
I don't know. I don't know who made that decision.
That's a dumb decision.
But anyway, that's Cobra Kai, chat. those are our impressions of part 1 for season 6. So we're gonna go a little into politics now because a certain someone.
We just can't have a normal weekend,
No,
a nice quiet weekend anymore.
nope.
It can't happen.
Because coincidentally, following the failed assassination attempt on Trump and the coincidence of Biden getting COVID during the RNC coverage,
Mm-hmm.
Biden has announced that he's dropping out of the presidential election and has endorsed Kamala Harris. So I'm not surprised he endorsed Kamala.
I always thought he would. If he
yeah.
were to drop out of the presidential election, I always thought that he would endorse Kamala, because how could he not? With all of the preaching that they have been doing, right? How can you not endorse? And even when they ran for the election, they're like, vote for Kamala. I mean, look at her, a strong Black woman. We finally have a woman in the White House, VP, vice president, right? How can they not endorse her? It would look so bad on them. But I think that it's I think it can go two ways. I think it's either a temporary thing, right? And she will either step down or someone will replace her. Or Biden will resign and she will become what is it? Interim president?
He's the interim president, basically.
Yeah. And that way that way they can show everybody, like, look, she's a good presidential candidate. See, look what she can do. I think it'll go either of those ways, honestly. But
either way, they have till August 7th.
I was not 100% sold on Joe Biden finishing this election, especially after that debate. That debate just completely crushed Joe Biden. He looked so bad. It was. And honestly, you know what? I am 100% on board with like this whole thing being a coup, a total coup. Like, none of this stuff is coincidental. It can't be, right? Like, no. It can't be. I think that this was the contingency plan based off of the fact that Donald Trump lived. And it sounds terrible to say that. It sounds completely terrible, completely conspiratorial, and you know what? That's fine. I don't care. But that's just how this looks. It looks like, because after that happened to Trump, it took them like an hour, right? Everybody, it took them all like an hour, maybe more, to come out with statements. But with this, everybody had their statements ready. But yet we're supposed to believe that was it Joe Biden's aides learned about it on Twitter the way everybody else did? Really?
Yeah.
So I think that like this was
Obama had a statement out before the president, like over what happened, and
yeah. I think this was the contingency plan right now. That's what we're seeing, because they couldn't take Trump out in order to like have, basically like have Joe Biden win the White House, right? He looked terrible in the debate. And they're like, okay, well, this is bad. We need something to happen. Like, Trump needs to be out now. Like, we've tried taking him out so many times, I guess, like, quote unquote, legally, right? We've tried going through all these channels trying to take Trump out and get him to, stop running for president. Nothing has worked. And now, like, he survived and he's become sort of like this symbol of the Republican Party. The Republican Party is so amped up. You saw so much support for Trump that even Mark Zuckerberg is out here saying that, like, he felt so much pride. You couldn't help feel something for Trump when you saw him, put his fists in the air with the American flag behind it. How could you not, as an American, feel something in that moment? Like, even Mark Zuckerberg is saying something about it. Right?
Yeah.
And it looks really bad. So they're just like, yeah, we're not going to win. And all they care about is power. They don't care how they retain it. They just want power. They want to stay in power. And so like this is, if they're gonna do what they're gonna do, they're gonna do what they gotta do, right? So like I think that the fact that like now Biden is out, this whole thing seems incredibly coordinated. And so this was like their thing. Okay, if Trump, somehow survives, this is the thing to do. This is what we're going to do. And so it's very heavily coordinated. It's heavily coordinated. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, and the fact that he's announcing it on a Sunday.
The fact that they announced it through Twitter.
Yeah, and Twitter.
There was no speech. Where's his speech?
He said according to him, he's going to have like more. Like he's going to like lay out and like detail his plans or whatever.
Is there anything
like,
planned? There's nothing planned. Nothing for him to come out and actually talk. They did it through Twitter. Does Joe Biden know that they did that? Because he doesn't have his phone. He's not allowed his phone. I mean, shit. He was tweeting during the debate, so that he doesn't handle his own Twitter account.
No.
But
whoever's handling his own Twitter account, there's like, oh, people like it when Trump's aggressive. So I'm like, we're gonna make Joe Biden aggressive, which is totally fucking unbelievable, given like how Joe Biden's presented himself. And then Mark Hamill.
How's Mark
his
Hamill?
take? Like when like basically tweeting out a picture of Trump praying, and like equating it to being asleep for the RNC. So
let me see if he's tweeted. Oh, that's right. He did. He said Joe Biden has a record of accomplishments unmatched by any president in our lifetime. He restored honesty, dignity, and integrity to the office after 4 years of lies, crime, scandal, and chaos. Thank you for your service, Mr. President. It's now our duty as patriotic Americans to elect the Democrat who will honor and further your legacy. He hasn't tweeted since. He has not tweeted any support for Kamala Harris. None. Zero.
But that's the progressive side.
None.
Pretty much. Yep.
I was laughing at this when we started because I couldn't hear. Hold on.
I would say stop trying that.
Because I remembered this when we were starting, and I was like, oh my gosh, where's the video? Whoopi Goldberg rode so hard for Biden that she admitted to shitting her pants, and then he dropped out.
Can't even imagine. Now, I'm not running the world, but I have poopy days all the time. I step in so much poo you can't even imagine.
She admitted to pooping her pants. She's riding so hard for Biden. She admitted to pooping her pants. And then he ended up dropping out. Like, can you imagine? Because they were saying about him being old.
Yeah.
Right? That's an old people thing that they poop themselves. And she's just like, I'm going to admit it. I have poopy days too. Can you imagine like admitting that, and then the man that you were riding so hard for just completely drops out of the race? I thought that was so funny. But I don't think that,
dude, not just to admit it, but to like say it on live TV.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what she says tomorrow. I can't.
Yeah.
It's God. Sometimes I can't. Not sometimes. I can't stand The View. I hate The View. But I look forward to what they have to say sometimes. And tomorrow is one of those days. Like, I wonder what she gonna say. She pooped her pants.
Thank you, Ragfear. Welcome to being a member of my channel. Yeah, so that news dropped. And like I said earlier, there's a little bit of political news mixed with pop culture, because any Lord of the Rings fans in the chat, I mean, I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, in case you all didn't know. I have the One Ring right here.
Rule them all.
And this right here, I have to take it off to show you guys clearly. But it's the White Tree of Gondor. So I'm a little bit of a Lord of the Rings fan. And yes, Rast Toxic Mare. I know you're a fan of Maz's mum. I mean, who isn't? Quite frankly, in Australia, pretty much. But anyway.
Oh my God! Look, listen to this.
Okay.
Listen to this, Kamala. I'm telling you, Kamala is. If he doesn't drop out, he's gonna bite the bullet.
He feels that his younger brothers and
Biden's younger brother.
And here's what he told us. He said, I'm incredibly proud of my brother. Selfishly, I will have him back to enjoy whatever time we have left. He is a genuine hero. Country over self. It sounds corny in our cynical political environment, but he nor I are cynical. The goal remains the same: defeat Trump and continue the work that Joe has done. My hope is that our party rallies around this heroic act. We asked him whether he feels that his brother's overall health and vitality played a major role in this decision, and he says, in my humble opinion, absolutely. So a member of the president's family now confirming that the president's health was indeed a major factor in this decision, and calling his brother a hero for making the decision to pass the torch to Kamala Harris.
And he said his brother might not have much longer to live. That's the thing that they're putting out there.
Well, it insinuates time we have
that his brother might not have much longer to live. So see, Kamala, I really think that he's going to resign. He's going to resign. He's going to. Why would his brother be like, I want him back. I'm happy to have him back and enjoy whatever time we have left. Why would he come out and say that? Unless they're planning on him stepping down and him going and being with his family for the remainder of the time he has left.
Yeah. I can see that.
He's gonna step down.
Well, if he's stepping down would make her interim president.
Yes, he's gonna.
That's what we mean by stepping down. Not just not seeking re-election and endorsing her, but actually stepping down as president, and she takes over in the interim. So, but the reason why I'm asking you guys, if any of you are Lord of the Rings fans. So, you're the far right. Pretty much. Rachel Maddow claims Lord of the Rings is a favorite cosmos of the far right. And the reason why she's saying it's a favorite cosmos of the far right is because of the VP pick from Trump, and that is J.D. Vance. Okay. For those who've been relatively following the RNC coverage, and when Trump announced his VP pick, J.D. Vance, one of his mentors was is basically the CEO of PayPal, or Peter Thiel. All right, and Thiel will name certain basically venture capitalist businesses after elements from Lord of the Rings. J.D. Vance did the same thing. All right, J.D. Vance did the same thing. And according to Rachel Maddow, let me see if there's a clip in this. Is there? No. She said, Lord of the Rings is a sort of favorite cosmos for naming things and cultural references for a lot of far-right and alt-right figures, both in Europe and the United States. Peter Thiel names all these things after Tolkien figures in places like his company Palantir, for example. And the Palantir is that orb thing that you can look through and, how do I put this? See a potential future. Doesn't necessarily mean the future will happen, but see a potential future. All right, that's basically an element of the Palantir. Hey, Galadorn. All right, so she's saying basically, if you like, basically, Lord of the Rings is a sort of favorite cosmos for naming things and cultural references for a lot of far-right and alt-right figures. Sorry, never mind that Tolkien himself basically told off the Nazi Party when the Nazi Party wrote him a letter and said, hey, could you basically confirm the fact that you don't have any Jewish heritage in your family tree? And Tolkien, in so many nice words, told the Nazi Party to fuck off. That he would be happy if he had Jewish heritage in his family tree, pretty much. He'd sold it nicer, but he basically told the Nazi Party to piss off when he was asked that. She goes further. This is the kicker here. All right. Like his mentor, Peter Thiel, who had given him all his jobs in the world, Mr. Vance also, when he founded his own venture capital with the help from Peter, named it after a Lord of the Rings thing. All right. He called it Narya. Okay, Narya is one of the rings of power, one of the elven rings of power. It was given. Narya and Vilya were given to Gil-galad, and then Gil-galad gave Narya to Círdan, and Círdan then gave Narya to Gandalf, basically. So when Gandalf says that he's wielder of the secret flame, he's referring to Narya. But this is Rachel Maddow's reasoning, which you can remember because it's Aryan. Just move the N to the end. She broke the code, ladies and gentlemen. She broke the code. God. Narya is just Aryan because you just
Rachel Maddow has a broken brain. She has a broken brain. She will see racism everywhere. She will turn anything into something being racist, something relating to Nazis, something relating to white supremacy. Like she will find the link, no matter how incredibly outstretched and reachable the link is. Like that's a reach. That's a huge reach on her part. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. It's like, look, secret coding. I'm telling you, it's all you want to talk about conspiracies. They're making fun of like the right wing for having all of these. There you go.
Yeah.
Hidden messaging. Look at that. I broke it. It's hidden messaging. Narya. Oh, you move the N to the front. Oh my gosh, so stupid.
It spells like like she broke the code. She broke the code pretty much. So
yeah, she has a broken brain.
Yeah.
She's so stupid.
But that's it. Like I'm saying, this is like basically pop culture mixed in with politics, just because now, again, it's the accusation that only the far right, only the alt-right love Tolkien because of pick a reason, pick a fucking reason that they whatever conspiracy they want to throw out, only the far right loves Tolkien. Pretty much, it's basically like it's a dog whistle for that side of the political spectrum, and she's claiming that Narya is Aryan. Again, all someone would have to do to basically debunk what she claimed was to find the letter, which you can do. You can find the letter that Tolkien wrote to the Nazi Party when he told them to bugger off after being asked to prove he had no Jewish heritage in his ancestry. He basically told them, fuck off, in a nicer way. So you're telling me that man who became the bane of the Nazi Party in that sense would include Nazi rhetoric in the stories. I'm just saying. It's like she's only bringing this up because J.D. Vance, he's the wrong side of the political spectrum, basically, in their minds. Because he's on the right. Because he's on the right, and he happens to love Lord of the Rings enough that he's inspired by Peter Thiel to name his venture capitals after Lord of the Rings elements. Mm-hmm. It's obviously a dog whistle for you, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how they go on the defensive, I guess. Like that's how they operate. They look at the things that you love, the things that you like, the things that you're interested in, and they take it and see how they can turn it into something that they can use against you. In this case, he likes Lord of the Rings, so Lord of the Rings is alt-right.
Yeah.
How can we turn it into some alt-right thing? There you go.
That's Never mind that Lord of the Rings, like written back in 54 and 55, has been translated into so many fucking languages worldwide to the point where it's basically second. Like The Hobbit, like basically Tolkien's works, like The Hobbit, is second only to the Bible in terms of how many prints those copies of his stories. You're telling me only the right were the cause of all those prints happening.
Yep.
Yeah, we're that powerful. We are that powerful with the printing press and the popularity of Lord of the Rings. Well, see, according to Rings of Power, the Elvish rings were created in full fucking view of Sauron. Even though in lore they were actually created outside of his influence. That's why he was pissed off that he couldn't control the elves. Because he didn't know about the Rings of Power until it was like for the elves until it was too late, because Celebrimbor did it in secret. Anyway. But that's like, I thought that was just so incredibly fucking stupid. Like I said, she broke the code and it's like, oh my god, Narya's just Aryan. That's ridiculous. Anyway, real fast, I do have kind of a hard out around 10 p.m. Just close some of these tabs. Let's talk a little bit of Rocksteady cringe. Because Steph and I are both DC fans. Steph and I are both fans of Batman. And the Rogues Gallery of Villains. Here you go, Steph. Mrs. Freeze. Victoria Freeze. That you can get as a DLC for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. That
She's a
says it all, that
lesbian.
side. And she's a lesbian.
She's a lesbian. See, I saw this photo like floating around, and at first I thought, like, what did they do to Mr. Freeze? How do you fuck up this character? And
There
then
you
I
go.
found out, oh,
Here you go.
okay, they're gender swapping him, right? I was like, oh, okay, so now it's Mrs. Freeze. They're gender swapping Mr. Freeze, and I'm making him black. Like, I don't know, but and now is that? Then someone told me that no, that's not Mr. Freeze. That's Mr. Freeze's wife. But now I guess it's not his wife. It's just Mrs. Freeze. Is it his wife? Because it's MRS, which implies that she was married at one point or is married.
Okay, basically,
is it his wife?
Victoria Freeze
is an ice cold. She left him and became a lesbian. Is that what this is?
No, by the time we
okay, it's Victoria.
It's right here. It's basically Victoria Frias is an ice-cold, self-sufficient survivalist who has watched her Elseworld turn to ice as Brainiac's invasion took hold, describes Rocksteady, describing the villain. By the time we meet her in Season 2, for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, she has spent years as the last holdout of her dying planet, unwilling to leave her cryogenically frozen wife behind.
Okay, so it's Mr. Freeze's story, but now it's just a lesbian.
It's
a gender-swapped lesbian.
Yeah.
Sure. That is ridiculous. That is stupid. Oh my god. And that's in Suicide
Squad Kill the Justice League. That's like the new DLC coming. But
I'm sorry, do they want to make money? Legitimately, do they want to make money? This has to cost money in order to make this, create this character, create all of the things that she's doing in the video game. It costs money to do that. Do they want to make money? Like, that's a legitimate question. Do you want to be successful? Do you really want your games to be successful? Stop doing this shit. Stop it. That is, oh my god. Holy crap. She is
but you can purchase
a lesbian.
The Mr. Freeze outfit as a purchasable cosmetic option for the gender swapped counterparts. So you can so they're gonna try to make money that way by having Mr. Freeze, his appearance, his outfit, I should say, will be featured as a purchasable cosmetic option for Mrs. Freeze in the game.
How dare you? Arkham Asylum is an incredible game. How dare you pick something from it in order to give us this shit character and be like, but look, guys, she's wearing Mr. Freeze's armor. And that's not her armor. That's Mr. Freeze's armor. You give it back. Give it back to that man.
This is supposed to be in the same universe as the Arkham games. And they made Deadshot was white in that universe. Now he's black, and Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. Hey, Dr. Coffin Nils. Catwoman Captain Boomerang gets the Speed Force.
Oh Lord.
One of them gets. I think one of them gets Green Lantern powers. I think it's King Shark.
I was just about to say, is it King Shark?
I think it's King Shark.
I thought it was
I can't
King
remember.
Shark, but I didn't want to say it out loud because I wasn't sure if I was remembering correctly.
I think it's King Shark. One of them gets, I believe, Green Lantern powers. There's someone able to kill Superman.
It is Green Shark. It is green. Okay, for like 5 minutes. Okay. Yeah. But I'm with Trey. Why not just do Mr. Freeze? Just fucking do Mr. Freeze. Put him in there. It doesn't have to be some new Victoria Freeze.
Yeah.
And
now we get this.
She's now a lesbian with a wife. And God, that's so stupid. It's so stupid. How do you spell her last name?
Frias. Frias. I guess it's how it's pronounced.
Okay. I thought it was going to be spelled Fries, which is the last name. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, I mean, like that's how they spell it in this article. But I don't know if it's a misspelling or what. But this is how they spelled it here in this article. Because Victor Freeze spells it like Fries.
Yes, yeah, okay.
So I don't know. Yeah, but Mrs. Freeze.
Like, no, we can't spell it the same way as the man did. So stupid. What a stupid thing. They don't want money. They don't want money. They're happy to go bankrupt. And you know what? We're gonna let them. Let them.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Fuck them.
Pretty much.
Let them. Fuck them. Move along. You know what? Put your little DLC out there. It's not going to garner any new people playing this stupid game. Nobody's playing it now. No. It's going to end up like you're going to have to give it away for free. So yeah, just go ahead, do it. Put it out there.
Yes, it is. But anyway, let me just stop presenting. Yeah, that's like what I have for this week, ladies and gentlemen. So a little bit of politics because like some news obviously dropped this weekend. So we had the coverage for the RNC. And we'll see basically where the week takes us. I'm surprised it's even that much. 300 players. So, but I think my dog has to go out. So I'm going to start kind of wrapping this up. But Steph, let everybody know where they can find you and all that good stuff. And it'll be on her channel next week.
My channel next week. And everywhere. My Nerdy Home. Everywhere. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'll be going live later on tonight after House of the Dragon. I'm not sure if I will be going live later. I might. So if you haven't yet, turn on notifications on Kick and Twitch. Mm-hmm. If if you're interested. I'm not sure if I'm going to go live yet because I hate the way I'm feeling right now. I feel like I'm getting sick. Like I was touching my face earlier because I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm getting a fever. I feel like I'm getting sick. So I'm gonna take some medicine and watch House of the Dragon and see how I feel after that. Because I can feel myself getting like chills. I can feel myself getting a fever. So I don't know if I'm getting sick or not. So I need to figure that out. So turn notifications on and see if I go live later. I don't know if I'm gonna go live later. We'll see.
And this is my Kick and my Twitch. I've been dual streaming to both those platforms. I'm thinking about basically just continuing my playthrough of Gears of War 2 and like just trying to finish that. So that's what I might do tomorrow. This is my Discord. Basically hang out there. Different sections to have conversations in. I do watch parties there. I did a watch party today for Young Einstein. D&D will be picking up, I believe, next week. So I'll have like this one time in D&D stories for you all moving forward when we start our playthrough again for Call of Cthulhu, the role TTRPG. And so basically probably moving the watch parties to like Friday evening on my Discord. Yeah, so basically Gears of War 2 this week, going into Gears 3, probably playing some First Descendants. Wednesday on my YouTube channel talking Mad Max 2 for the ones and twos, and then on Thursday I'll be on Orange Hat's channel talking the Last Voyage of the Demeter, which I have two big problems with, even though I overall enjoyed that film. And pretty much, yeah. So seeing where basically the weekend takes me as far as streaming. So, hey, Psychotic Mongoose, hope you enjoyed the replay because we're wrapping up here. But thank you, everyone, again, for hanging out with me. Thank you to the new members. And again, next week it'll be on her channel. So she gets to pick the topics. And we'll see you all at some point during this week. So take care. Have fun. Stay safe. Peace.
Bye.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.